Welcome to your next best step. I'm Coach Janet J. If Holy Week felt weighty, if Good Friday felt heavy, and if Easter Sunday held joy and exhaustion all in one body, this episode is for you. Today is a gentle one. Easter Sunday can feel full in every sense of the word. Full church, full parking lots, full family rooms, full hand plates, full feelings, full laundry baskets by the end of the day. And then Easter Monday shows up. And instead of feeling like you should burst into song every time you walk past a tulip, you may feel quiet. There is a name for that shift. Psychologists have studied why the day after a meaningful event so often feels like a letdown. And what they found changes how you think about this quiet Monday. I think many of us carry an unspoken expectation that the bigger the spiritual event, the bigger the emotional response should be afterward. Easter service was beautiful. The music moved you. The communion meant something. You hugged people you love. And then Monday arrived. Maybe you were back at work, answering emails that have nothing to do with the resurrection. Maybe you are at home, stepping over plastic Easter grass and wondering what to do with the 14 hard-boiled eggs. Maybe you are in the car on the way to something ordinary, and the weekend already feels like it happened a week ago. That gap between what you expected to feel and what you actually feel is real, and it has been studied. It shows up in Scripture in a way that I find deeply comforting. There is a story in Luke 24 that I keep coming back to on days like today. It is the very first Easter afternoon. Two followers of Jesus, one of them we learn is named Cleopas, are walking on the road from Jerusalem. These are not any of the 12 disciples. These are everyday followers, part of the broader community of people who had believed in Jesus and watched everything fall apart on Friday. They are not celebrating, they are confused, sad. They've heard the rumors of an empty tomb, and they do not know what to make of any of it. And Jesus walks up beside them. Luke 24, verses 15 and 16. As they talked and discussed these things with each other, Jesus himself came up and walked along with them. Their eyes were kept from recognizing him. They were walking with the risen Christ, and they did not know it yet. Here is what I find remarkable. These followers did not move from heartbreak to bold confidence in a single afternoon. Cleopas and his companion were still walking, still processing, still piecing together what had just happened. Resurrection was already true before they recognized it. And I think that matters deeply for anyone sitting in a quiet Easter Monday, wondering why the experience doesn't feel bigger. That post-event emotional shift also lines up with what psychologists describe. Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar, a positive psychology researcher who taught at Harvard, coined a concept called the arrival fallacy. It describes the pattern where people anticipate that reaching a meaningful milestone will produce lasting emotional intensity, and then feel unexpectedly underwhelmed when that intensity fades. It happens after graduations, weddings, promotions, and major holidays. The related concept of hedonic adaptation, documented by researchers Frederick and Lowenstein, describes how emotional responses to positive events naturally decrease over time. Your brain adjusts. The intensity softens, and the meaning has to find a different place to live than the initial emotional surge. Here's the encouraging part. That quieting is actually your brain making room. It is processing, integrating, creating space for the meaning to move from a feeling into something more lasting. And that process, the slow settling, is something your faith already understands. Cleopas did not recognize Jesus at the beginning of the walk. Recognition came later, over broken bread after miles of honest conversation. The meaning landed when there was room for it. Here is where this gets practical and encouraging. Research on what psychologists call savoring, the deliberate practice of noticing and extending positive moments, shows that this kind of intentional attention is associated with greater psychological well-being and lower negative effect. In plain language, when you slow down and pay attention to one good thing on purpose, your brain registers it differently. It processes the moment more deeply. So, the stillness of Easter Monday is actually an opportunity, a chance to let this weekend's meaning land in a way that Sunday's fullness might not have allowed. You were too busy experiencing Easter to absorb it. Monday is for absorbing. This touches all 4 pillars of your well-being. Mentally, it gives you a break from the pressure to manufacture the right spiritual response. There's no performance review on your Easter feelings. Emotionally, it makes room for mixed feelings. Gratitude and tiredness are allowed to sit in the same chair. Joy and relief and a vague sense of, I need 12 hours of sleep, are not contradictions. Physically, it invites your body to come down from a big weekend without shame. If your nervous system has been running on holiday adrenaline, cooking, hosting, dressing up, managing family dynamics, your body is asking for something slower today. Listen to it. Spiritually, it reminds you that Jesus is present before you fully recognize what he is doing. He was there before they knew he was there. If you listen to Friday's episode on forgiveness, you know this has been an intense week. If your heart is still processing, that is okay. Wednesday, we will continue that conversation and go a layer deeper. Here is your next best step for today. 1 sentence to God. Thank you for what happened this weekend. Help me notice you today. No devotional plan needed. No new spiritual goals. No self-improvement to-do list. That 1 sentence is enough for Easter Monday. You are allowed to receive today. You are allowed to be the person on the road, still talking it through, still processing, still discovering that Jesus is nearer than you knew. Jesus was not impatient with Cleopas and his companion. He walked with them. He listened. He asked questions. He stayed long enough for recognition to grow. He still does. So here's what we covered today. The arrival fallacy and hedonic adaptation explain why a quiet Monday after a meaningful Sunday is completely normal and actually healthy. Luke 24 shows us that even the earliest followers of Jesus needed a long walk, honest conversation, and a shared meal before they recognized what had happened. And savoring research tells us that slowing down to notice one good thing helps meaning settle deeper. Your quiet Monday is the absorption, and that is holy ground. On Wednesday, we pick up where Friday's forgiveness conversation left off. That episode goes a layer deeper. So if Friday stirred something up for you, Wednesday has you covered. If this episode resonated with you, would you do me a favor? Follow or subscribe wherever you are listening or watching so you do not miss an episode. And if you have a moment, a rating or review makes a real difference. It helps other women find this show, and I am so grateful for everyone. I will see you Wednesday. Take your next best step.